Hello friends, my name is Claire. Welcome back to my channel. For this week's video, I'm going to be doing a Christmas wintry A-frame in The Sims 4. So I love doing winter builds during the month of December, so if you have any build suggestions for me, please leave them down in the comments. And while they're down there, you can hit that like and subscribe button. I'm trying to hit 100 subscribers before the end of the year, and we're getting close to that deadline, but we're also so close to hitting 100 subscribers. So if you wouldn't mind hitting those buttons, that would mean so much to me. And we are going to be starting off in the inside. You can probably tell by just like a quick little bit outside that there's no snow on the ground. Like, why is this a wintry build? And I wanted to make sure the landscaping was good if this wasn't a winter build. But if you want to see the winter magical snowing, fallingness, you can stay tuned towards the end of the video, and there will be screenshots with the winter and snow, and I think that just looks so magical. So if you want to see a magical Christmas A-frame, I would suggest watching the screenshots of the video. So we are starting off the interior with the entryway to the house. So I wanted to have a little guest book because this is a vacation rental I'm designing for. I know some people like to go out and not like to be cooped up inside for the holidays, and so that was kind of like the inspiration for this build, and also having it in a vacation being having it be a vacation rental. So we are just going to be working on the half bath. This home does have the primary on the first level, so I wanted to have a little like other powder bath on this level as well because I wanted the primary bathroom just to be for the primary bedroom. So we are just going to be adding a fireplace, and I wanted to have some decorations for Christmas in this house because I was imagining that that's what would be happened in vacation rentals. I've never been in a vacation rental during Christmas time, so I was kind of improvising, but seeing things online, I know that like there's like houses decorated for Christmas during this time and like a Christmas tree that's already decorated, and so we are just going to be adding some cozy blankets from the seasons pack. And I wanted to go for a modern rustic style for this house, and I wanted to have like a lot of like handcrafted looking items. You'll see that with the chairs in the living room and also with the bed in the primary. So we are just going to be scooching everything over just slightly. I kind of felt like there needed to be something in this corner of the living room, and so I added a kids like art table from the seasons pack as well, and I just feel like this was really fun. I was kind of imagining that the Sims for this house would either be like the owners of the rental or they just love coming to this particular rental every year. So we are just going to be adding a coat rack. I was imagining that that little cupboard would be like where the snow boots are or the extra layers of snow warming materials. So we are just now in the kitchen. Okay, kind of like the kitchen was a little too modern, and so I do change these cabinets to be from the Horse Ranch pack, and it looked kind of more rustic to me. So I'm just going to kind of be playing with the layout with these cabinets, and then I will be changing the cabinets to be this more rustic looking cabinet. So I wanted this to be a big open kitchen. There's no room for an island, but there is a separate dining space that you'll see me work on in a minute. But first, we're just going to be adding these cabinets, and I feel like these cabinets do work well with the stone. Probably makes a little bit of sense because they are from the Horse Ranch pack. They both are, so we are just going to be adding some upper cabinets, and I feel like this kitchen turned out pretty well, so we're just going to be just kind of figuring out the layout at this point and making sure that the cabinets look different and interesting. And I feel like having this like big window area in the kitchen just looks kind of cool to have like look out into the snowy landscape, and I wanted to go for a modern appliances for this house just because I feel like having like modern appliances just seem like luxury for one and clean in another way. Like I feel like the cabinets are very rustic and I wanted to tie in some modernism with the appliances. So we are just going to be adding some aprons, but I do end up getting rid of those aprons for a different kitchen hanging item shelf unit, and so we are just going to be extending this stone into the kitchen, and I was going to have the kitchen be very open, but I feel like it needed a little bit of separation. So by the stairs there is a wall to kind of separate this space, but it still feels pretty open when I was taking the screenshots. So here is that little storage unit, and it's not really functional, but neither was the aprons. But stay tuned and see where I put those aprons in a future video. And so we are just going to be adding some decorations onto the shelves. I did want to make sure that the Sims did have enough space to cook together. This house can sleep up to 6 Sims, and so I wanted to make sure that there was plenty of space for your Sims to cook together and to eat together. You can see now we are working on the dining room space, and I went pretty like neutral with the table, but I thought it would be fun to add some more Christmas colors and have the chairs alternate red and green. So we are just going to be figuring out the space. I feel like this area seemed a little small, and so I do end up getting rid of the back door, and this house is set pretty far back on the lot, and so I just was going to add the things that I was planning on adding in the backyard to the front yard, and I feel like that turned out pretty well for this house. So we are just going to be adding a rug. I'm using one from the horse ranch pack because I just feel like it added a little bit more rusticness to the house. And so you can see that we're still trying to figure out how to make the space work with the back door. I feel like it could have worked, it just seemed a little tight. That's why we end up getting rid of the back door. So we are just going to be adding a little short hutch into this space to have the kitchen, not appliances, but the kitchen like silverware and plates and stuff. This is from the Seasons pack, and I think it's one of my favorite items in that pack, besides the item where your Sims can change the weather. They might die, just saying, but it is a very useful tool when I'm taking screenshots for these videos and I can't like have a clear skies because there's a rainstorm going on. So we are just going to be heading into the primary suite now. Going to be using this bed from the outdoor retreat pack. That is the same pack where I am currently building this house, and I feel like using this bed just seems kind of fun and whimsical. So we are just going to be adding some curtains. I have on this room and in the bunk room on the second level this like cool window where it's like kind of like the A-frame part of the house. You can like look through it, and then the window is like looking out into like the diagonal part of the roof. So we are just going to be rearranging a few things in the kitchen and going to be making this the final design. So we are just going to be now fully invested in the master or the primary bedroom. So we are going to be scooching things over. I feel like having the wall on this bed with the door just kind of made sense. I didn't want it to like be the first thing you would see in this room, and so having it on the same wall as the door just kind of, I feel like it flowed better. So we are going to be making a little nook area for the little dresser and going to be adding some items into the bathroom soon. So we're just first going to be adding a little TV spot. There's only like the TV in the living room, and so I feel like it made sense to have a TV in the primary bedroom, especially because there are 6 Sims living or would be able to stay in this rentals, so I feel like having multiple TVs just kind of made sense. Like the kids can be out in the living room and the parents can retreat into their own space. So we were just gonna be finding some items to go on the dresser. I feel like having these suitcase items from the Growing Together pack just kind of made sense and like kind of honed in the fact that this is a vacation rental home. So we are just going to be adding some pictures, and I do actually end up putting a garland over the bed. I feel like it looked kind of fun and brought in some of that wintry Christmas fun. So we are just going to be finding that wreath. I found so many other things I forgot about that came in the free pack that has all this holiday items. I'm thinking I'm going to do a base game plus the holiday pack. If you're interested, hit that like and subscribe button. So we are just going to be adding some of these free different holiday items and going to be adding a nutcracker onto the front of the house. I feel like having the nutcracker just really helped hone in the Christmas flair to the exterior. I was mostly focusing on that Christmas fun on the interior, but I feel like just having these little nutcrackers were a subtle little nod to that. So we are just going to be finishing up the bedroom with putting some items into the bathroom. So this bathroom is pretty simple. I mostly just copy and pasted these items from the half bath, and then we are just going to be now heading upstairs. So first we're going to be working on this little loft area. I knew when I started to build this house, I wanted to have a loft area, and this was originally going to be like the primary bedroom suite area, just kind of like be away from everything and have like the bunk room be on the first ground level and have the primary bedroom be up here, but I kind of changed that mind. I feel like it would be funner for the kids to be up in this second level, and they do have that window where they can like look down into the living room, and I don't know why I feel like that would be really fun for kids to like be spying on each other. So we are just going to be adding a cute little wintry barn picture from the seasons pack and going to be heading over into the bunk room area. And I first started with adding a sleeping bag, but I'm like, you know what, that just doesn't seem permanent. And so I do end up going with just 2 sets of bunk beds. So there are 4 beds in this room total. I eventually get there. It took me a little bit of like figuring out a layout, and then I'm like, you know what, I want to make this a true bunk room, not just bunk beds and a normal bed. So I did want the bedding to be consistent, and so all these beds are from the Horse Ranch pack, and I feel like it's pretty neutral, so you can have whoever you want sleeping in whichever bed they want. You can just assign them a color bed, and then they can go to that bed. Anyway, I tried to make that part as simple as possible. And now we are just going to be adding some curtains into the window, and I really like overall how this area turned out. So we're just going to be adding a dresser, and I really wanted to add this little suitcase that looks like a backpack. I was imagining like the kids like probably put all their toys in that backpack, even though it's a like dresser item. Your Sims can't actually like put stuff in it. It's not like an inventory item as far as I know. So we are just going to be adding another mantle into this house. I feel like the wall in the loft just needed a little bit more of something, and so adding this mantle is just kind of another like design element I added. So we are just going to be adding a little toy box from the Growing Together pack, and I just feel like it was like nice and Christmassy with like the old-fashioned rocking chair and the teddy bear. So we are just going to be adding some toys by the barn and going to be adding a lot of kid stickers onto this wall. I do also add a friendship making bracelet making kit, and I think this is really fun, trying to make this kids area as fun yet simple as possible, just since this is a rental. I wanted to make it seem like there these items that the kids and I guess the adults brought into the space, and kind of more than just kids in the space. You can also have teens. I just wanted to make this like a fun bunk room, kind of like a kids zone area. So we are just going to be adding some bunny decals and going to be adding some cloud decals. I do also add some like cloud wallpaper looking details onto the ceiling, and you can only see that during the screenshots unless you want to download this house, and that information will be down in the description if you are interested in playing in this house. So we are just going to be adding some Starry Nights. I feel like having that blank wallpaper just didn't look good and I wanted it to be fun, so I decided to add this wallpaper that looks like a starry night. So we are going to be in the last space in the house, which is the bathroom that is connected to this bedroom. So I wanted to keep this bathroom very rustic looking, and so we are just going to be keeping it pretty simple. This is a small bathroom for like four Sims that would be using it, but there is also that half bath that I showed you at the beginning of the video. So we are just going to be finishing up this room, going to be adding just those final details to finish up this bathroom, and then we're going to be heading outside and going to be adding a bonfire. I wanted to use this in a previous build, but the space was too small, and so having a larger space like this just kind of made sense to have. And we're also going to be adding a pond because I honestly didn't know what else to add out here. I knew I wanted space for your Sims to make snow pals with, or snowmen, and if you want to play in this house, you can check out the description. It has all of the information, and we are going to be heading into the screenshots. So I hope to see you all next week for another Sims 4 video. Bye!